Hurricanes are one of nature's most terrifying spectacles. We know them for their destructive winds and devastating storm surges. But what if I told you that hidden within that chaos is an unforeseen power? A power not just to destroy, but to reveal. These powerful storms can act as unlikely archaeologists, peeling back the layers of time to unearth long-lost chapters of human history. The secret lies in the storm surge, that abnormal rise of water that acts like a colossal hydraulic shovel. Combined with powerful waves, it erodes coastlines, shifts mountains of sand, and topples ancient trees. And when the churning waters finally recede, they sometimes leave behind clues to our past that have been hidden for centuries or even millennia. Across the globe, the aftermath of powerful hurricanes has led to a series of stunning archaeological finds, offering tantalizing glimpses into bygone eras. Let's travel to the fall of 2022. Florida's east coast was battered by the 1-2 punch of Hurricanes Ian and Nicole. The unprecedented beach erosion that followed in Daytona Beach shores revealed something mysterious protruding from the sand. Archaeologists rushed to the scene and identified the skeletal remains as a shipwreck from the 1800s, estimated to be between 80 and 100 feet long. For generations, beachgoers had unknowingly walked just a few feet above this piece of maritime history. It was likely a cargo-carrying vessel that sailed along the coast, using lighthouses for navigation before meeting its end. As maritime archaeologist Chuck Mead remarked, "Whenever you find a shipwreck on the beach, it's really an amazing occurrence. There's this mystery, you know. It's not there one day and it's there the next day, so it really captivates the imagination." But Hurricane Ian wasn't done rewriting history. Its destructive path through southwest Florida also brought a remarkable piece of ancient craftsmanship to light. A resident of Fort Myers was cleaning up debris in his yard after the storm when he discovered a 9-foot-long canoe. State archaeologists, after a painstaking preservation process, identified it as a unique find. It was possibly made of mahogany, a wood not native to Florida, suggesting it may have originated from outside the state, perhaps even the Caribbean. This adds to Florida's rich history of such discoveries, with over 200 sites revealing ancient canoes, some dating back as far as 7,000 years. These vessels were the highways of their time, vital for the survival and mobility of Native American tribes like the Miccosukee and Seminole in Florida's water-rich environment. The power of a hurricane's winds can be just as revealing as its water. In 2020, Hurricane Laura tore through Louisiana's Kisatchie National Forest, uprooting acres of massive trees. As these giants were torn from the earth, their huge root balls acted like excavators, pulling up evidence of human life that was an astonishing 12,000 years old. The discovery included stone tools, spear points, and other artifacts from a site that appears to have been continuously occupied throughout prehistory. This was a hugely significant find, as it suggested the presence of larger, more settled communities in an area previously thought to be used only for temporary hunting and camping. Sometimes, it's not a hurricane but a similarly powerful storm that triggers a discovery. In 2018, a powerful winter storm known as a bomb cyclone played a crucial role in the search for the Clotilda, the last known ship to bring enslaved Africans to the United States. The storm created extremely low tides in the Mobile River Delta in Alabama, exposing the remains of a wooden schooner. Now, this particular wreck was later determined not to be the Clotilda, but the event spurred a more focused investigation, which led to the authenticated discovery of the actual vessel in 2019. The story of the Clotilda is a somber and powerful one. The ship was intentionally burned and sunk in 1860 to hide the evidence of its illegal human cargo, more than 50 years after the international slave trade had been outlawed. Its discovery provides a tangible, heart-wrenching link to the history of slavery in America. So what's the science behind these accidental discoveries? It's rooted in fields like coastal geomorphology and sedimentology. The immense energy from a hurricane's storm surge can literally strip away layers of sand and sediment that have built up over hundreds or thousands of years, exposing whatever lies beneath. This process, coastal erosion, is a natural force, but it's being accelerated by climate change, which leads to rising sea levels and more frequent, intense storms. Archaeologists don't just find artifacts after storms, they can also find evidence of the storms themselves, locked in the geological record. A fascinating field called paleotempestology is dedicated to studying past hurricane activity. Scientists extract long sediment cores from coastal lakes and marshes. By analyzing the layers, they can spot evidence of major historical storms. For example, a thick layer of coarse sand deep in a marsh core indicates a powerful storm surge that washed beach sand far inland. By carbon dating these layers, researchers can create a timeline of ancient hurricanes, revealing long-term patterns of storm frequency and intensity that go back thousands of years. This helps us understand the history of hurricanes and provides a vital long-term perspective for assessing future storm risks. While the unearthing of a lost piece of history is a moment of great excitement, it also marks the beginning of a desperate race against time. The very forces that reveal these sites can also destroy them. Once exposed, wooden shipwrecks, ancient tools, and fragile bones are vulnerable to further erosion from wind and waves. They can be dried out and cracked by the sun or degraded by salt water. This is where the practice of salvage archaeology comes into play. In the aftermath of a major storm, archaeological teams must move with incredible speed to document and recover what they can before it's lost forever. This often involves rapid response surveys, where teams walk miles of battered coastline to visually identify and record artifacts. They might also use non-intrusive methods like ground-penetrating radar, or GPR, and LiDAR, which uses laser pulses to map buried structures without ever digging into the ground. In the most critical cases, emergency excavations are necessary to recover as much information as possible before a site is reclaimed by the sea. But there's another significant threat: looting. The public exposure of ancient sites can attract illegal artifact hunters. These looters don't just steal valuable objects, they destroy the context in which they were found. An artifact's location, its position relative to other objects, and the soil layer it was in provide crucial information. When a looter rips an artifact from the ground, that information is lost forever. As one archaeologist lamented after the discovery of the 12,000-year-old site in Louisiana, it's like tearing a page out of that book and walking off with it. This makes the rapid, professional response of archaeologists even more critical. Beyond just revealing the past, these discoveries can also offer valuable lessons for the present and future. Studying how ancient civilizations adapted to hurricanes can inform our own strategies for resilience in the face of a changing climate. Archaeological evidence shows that ancient peoples in hurricane-prone regions were keenly aware of the dangers and developed ingenious ways to cope. The Kalinago people of the Caribbean, for instance, built low-lying circular homes that were far more resistant to high winds than the rectangular structures of European colonists. They also focused on planting root vegetables that were less likely to be completely destroyed in a storm. Similarly, many Native American tribes along the Gulf and Atlantic coasts built their homes on elevated platforms or stilts, raising them above the expected floodwaters. These ancient practices demonstrate a deep, generational understanding of their environment and a focus on building resilient, rather than just rigid, communities. In the end, the relationship between hurricanes and archaeology is a complex and profound paradox. These storms are a terrifying, destructive force, threatening modern communities and our irreplaceable cultural heritage alike. Yet, within their destructive power, they also possess the ability to reveal what has been lost to time, offering us these unexpected windows into the past. For the archaeologists who make them, these discoveries are often bittersweet. The thrill of finding a long-lost shipwreck or an ancient settlement is tempered by the knowledge that it was only revealed through a process of violent destruction. It's a poignant reminder of just how fragile our history is in the face of nature's awesome power. As our climate continues to change and storms grow more intense, it's almost certain that hurricanes will continue to act as both destroyers and revealers of our past. The challenge for us is to be prepared, to salvage the stories that are uncovered, to learn the lessons they have to teach, and to do everything we can to protect our shared cultural heritage from the storms of today and tomorrow.